Hi everybody, it's Jared here with Heat Press Nation, and I'm here with Errol, who's the plant manager here at UW Solutions. Thank you so much for bringing us here. What are we going to be doing today?
Yeah, absolutely. First off, thank you for coming out here. We're very pleased anytime we can get a customer in the plant and we can show them what we do. So we want to walk you through our process today. It is a very unique process. There's a lot of IP in it, so we'll have to be careful on where we go. But we want to show you everything we can, and we want to help everyone out there and yourself understand who we are, what we produce, and why our quality is better than everybody else in the world.
All right, well, let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right, Errol, so can you tell us exactly what's going on right here?
Yeah, absolutely. So right behind you, we're feeding the coating line. This is the beginning of the process. All substrates start at this process at what we call a raw material. And as you can tell, this is all US sourced material. So this is US metal that we're running right now. But all substrates start in this exact process.
Okay, so after the sheets have been fed through and made it to this point, what exactly is going on right here?
Yeah, as you can tell, when we first started, we started with a very high-end product. Our aluminum is sourced here in the United States, and for it to be Chromaluxe or Unisub, it needs to be a very high-end product. So we start with a very high-end product, we begin to run it down the coating line, and what you're seeing now is the very first steps in the science beneath the surface. So as we begin to apply coatings in our proprietary nature, this is where we start to build what you know as Chromaluxe.
All right, so now these big sheets, they've just kind of come through the roll coater, and they're about to go through a special process. Can you tell us a little bit, or what can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, so when you begin to talk about the science beneath the surface, that's where it gets a little bit of proprietary.
Yeah.
But what we can share is, behind us, you'll see a room, and that room is where the real science begins. There's three phases to that science, in my opinion, and that's the people, the process, and the coatings. So we have the proper people to do it. We have the unique processes to us, so we have the best coatings in the world. That combined with our other proprietary processes makes us top tier, gives us the best product in the world. So when others out there try to imitate what we do, they can't because they don't have those three things. So this is really where that begins and where that ends. So what you'll see behind me is our inspection station. It looks like a little bit of an Area 51 sign.
And it kind of is, right?
Yeah. However, in that process, we have part of our team, we have a couple other systems that are ensuring we catch everything that comes through there to the best of anybody's ability. So we want to ensure every product that comes down that coating line that is defect-free and gets to our customer that way. So that's their job back there. They do a great job at it.
At this point, like, what's going to happen to the material?
Well, what you see behind me right now is that finished product. So that product has not only that raw material, but it has our people, it has our coatings, it has who we are as a company on every one of those panels. So one of the things that we pride ourselves in is we take the utmost diligence in making every single part. No part is any less than the other. So as you see it stacked behind me, there may be a couple hundred in there. Every one of them is just as important as the next.
So this is the finished product, but it's actually not like the finished product. There's still a little bit more to do on some of these pieces, right?
Yeah, what you'll find is anything coming off the coating line is not actually a finished product, right? So we're providing a canvas for people to bring their images and dreams to life, right? So a lot of different things that we provide, a lot of other services are cut to size, whether that be routing, that be lasers, or sawing operations. So there's a lot more in the back of the building. This is where it all starts at. This is the heartbeat of who UW Solutions is, but it's not all that we do.
Okay, I think I recognize something here. Why do you guys have a heat press? What's this for?
Yeah, so where we're standing right now is our inspection, our outfeed area of the coating line. But for us, customers are the most important. So we want to ensure that they are getting the highest quality product they possibly can. And we do a few different tests for that, but one of the most important is the sublimation test. So as we're running product down the line, we have sublimation tests at the beginning of every run to ensure we keep the utmost quality for all products coming out of the plant. So we're going to check it before a customer ever gets it to ensure they get the best we can possibly make.
All right, so we're in the finishing process now, and this turns into this, is that correct?
Yeah, so like we said on the coating line, you're coming down with a full sheet, and we're going to go over to the saw. We're going to cut it down to size, which is what you see here. After that, we're going to start the process of changing the edge profile. So the process has begun with this one, and where we're going to actually change the edge profile, and we're going to give it that black look. So What you'll see of the finished product is this is where you're going to get your plaques and other things that you can sublimate for kids' awards or trophies or sporting events.
Okay, so it looks like we have a finished product here.
Yeah, so like I told you, we get down to this end and you get your award. So here's your award. What you'll see behind me right now is this is the outfeed of the machine, and they are inspecting every single product that comes off this machine.
Every product?
Every product that comes off this machine, they're inspecting to ensure that we have the highest quality. If it is not the highest quality, it doesn't make it out the door. So every part that comes off the line is fully inspected and checked.
UW Solutions, you guys, Chromaluxe and Unisub all under one roof. So talk to me through what's happening with these Unisub products.
Yeah, absolutely. So we say Unisub, but it's important to know they're different substrates, right? So what we're looking at right now is FRP. So this is our FRP router. This is one of our operators over here. And once again, he's taking a full sheet and he's cutting down to small sizes, right? So right now what we see him doing behind us is setting up to run again. So just finished. He's going to start his quality checks. Once again, we're going to check every piece that comes in and out of here.
Every piece?
Every piece. So he's going to reset. The router's going to start running, and he's going to continue to do his quality checks until the router stops.
So we are at a router. I feel like calling it a router is like an understatement. Tell us what exactly we're working with here.
Yeah, absolutely. So we alluded to as we came in, we have a lot of cut-to-size parts. And they're very precise. Anybody that knows anything about routing, there's two names that it gets. One is you want a very fine finish edge. Two, you need the vacuum to do so. So that's where aluminum routing is. We work as hard as we can to ensure those parts stay as flat and consistent as they can, and we cut them out perfectly every time. So the machine is doing its part, and you can see that it's running as fast as it can. But the other thing we have going on is the operator that is doing that same inspection that we talked about before, that's ensuring every part is up to our quality standards every single time.
All right, and still kind of in the finishing section here, we have another awesome piece of equipment. What are we working with over here?
Yeah, so to my right, there's a machine called the Zune. So the Zune is also an aluminum router, but it's a precision aluminum router, and it's unique, right? So when we talk about the next echelon of technology, the Zune steps into that realm. On another router where you're creating a program that takes an engineer, the Zune doesn't do that. The Zune is so unique. The Zune is going to tell you exactly what it can make out of it. So what you see behind us right now are photo panels being cut out. And the Zune is going to ensure that we have no waste on that sheet whatsoever. Another upgrade in technology and another thing that we offer our customers is the Zune and its capability.
Okay, so we got a really cool piece of gear behind us here. What exactly is going on with these blends?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've talked about all the other cut to size processes that we have in here in machines. We have a plethora, and this is the very next one, and this is the last one that we have. So this is a laser cutting machine. So it is going to take precision cuts on many different substrates. And what is unique about this, as you can tell with this, it's going to give you a nice clean black edge.
Yeah.
As you can tell, there's a nice clean finished black edge on there. And some customers really love the black edge, and some customers like myself like the wood finish.
Okay.
It's funny because when you go on any sublimation website, you can see a cheap Chinese version or a cheap foreign version. Then you're going to see Unisub, you're going to see Chromaluxe. And you're going to see that there is a couple pennies difference. What I can promise you is the image that's going to go in that Unisub or Chromaluxe panel is going to be of the utmost quality. The couple pennies that the Chinese or whoever else are making will not be worth it at your end product. When you sublimate your family's picture, you want it to look perfect every time, this is the panel that's going to do it.
Beautiful. Okay, I'm here with Nick. He's a technical specialist here at UW Solutions, and I feel like you have the funnest job here. Can you tell us where we're at and what exactly goes on here?
Yeah, sure. We are in the material science lab. This is where a lot of not only our samples happen, where we make for customers, but mostly what happens here is new products development, where we do all of the material science on whatever new materials we're developing, new products. It all happens right here in this room.
Yeah, so this is where you guys kind of develop like the instructions and the templates and everything like that.
Yeah, we come up with print settings like time, temperature, pressure, any kind of special requirements, whether that's using a special jig, a special cooling technique, all kinds of stuff like that. So it all happens right here. hundreds and hundreds of tests, one after the other. So
Using like different printers and inks even?
sometimes we use different printers and inks, but usually we try to stay pretty consistent for one product at a time. So once we get it down with one printer and one heat press, then we start testing more and more products.
Okay, I gotta ask, what's up with all these printers here?
Okay, well, actually funny you should ask. We have partnerships with a lot of manufacturers of equipment. And so we do product testing for various companies, not just printers. We also do paper, inks. We do a lot of work with a lot of industry leaders to try to help improve their products for consumers. So that's why we have so many printers and boxes of paper and yeah.
I love it. Well, I gotta say, I am fully and completely impressed with everything that you guys do here. It's so customer focused. Everything here, I feel like you guys do with the customer in mind, and it really speaks to just the quality of product that you guys produce. Man, is there anything else that we need to know, that people need to know about UW Solutions?
Thank you, yeah. So when we talk about being a customer-facing business, which we are, we ensure every step in our process does just that. Takes care of the end user, takes care of the customer. We're extremely proud of the products we make here. A lot of things today I couldn't share with you for that very fact, but there's plenty of things that we are proud of that we want to share. We are made in the USA from start to finish. All of our raw materials, this is where we get them from. And we're extremely proud of that. We want to provide the best quality product in the world, and we want it all to be made right here. But when you say made in the USA, that doesn't mean every person in this facility is from the United States, right? So we have a very, very diverse workforce. About 17 different nations inside of these walls that you just saw the process that they do. So we have built a team, a very, very diverse team that is more capable than any other team out there of getting the job done at here. You said something a second ago. There's two main focuses inside these walls, and that's safety and quality. Safety is at the forefront of everything we do, and quality is right behind it. We want to ensure that every part that comes out of this process has the utmost quality standards and gets to our customer the way they expect it every time.
Well, Harold, I really appreciate you taking the time to show us around, to really give us this inside look at UW Solutions, Chromaluxe, Unisub. Thank you so much, man. We appreciate it.
Thank y'all for coming.
Of course. If you want to get your very own Chromaluxe and Unisub product made completely here in the USA, head on over to heatpressnation.com.